Hello everyone, my name is Amnesia. Welcome back. I'm going to be casting some Starbow games here. Make sure I got all the sound set up properly here. There we go. Now I got game sounds and everything. So basically I was running out of replays there for a little bit, but posted on Starbow mod forums, and now I've got like a ton of replays to go through. So thank you to all of the superheroes that are on there. Let me introduce the players here. Up in the top right we have AnathemA, Terran players in the yellow trunks, as Total Biscuit would say. And down here in the bottom left we have the blue Zerg player Kinetic. And we've seen AnathemA play a couple of times before. Kinetic, not so much. But I do know that he's a pretty good player. AnathemA also very high ranked right now, both of them up in the top a few slots here, Starbow ladder. And AnathemA just going to be sending out his scout right now. Kinetic scouting his overlord. They're cross position, so obviously they're not going to spawn the correct direction right away. And it looks like this overlord is going to be heading up to overlook his natural, most likely. Might be sending it to try scout cross spawns, but I really doubt that. Let's see, is this drone? Drone's going to go over here, scout bottom right. So Kinetic actually going to scout AnathemA spawn in the very last spot. But not a big deal because that overlord does give that free scout in the one direction, so they're actually going to scout each other about the same time. Roughly, anyway. And really quick expansion coming out from Kinetic. Going to be getting his pool at 12. So pretty standard economic opening there. Do see the gas for AnathemA also very, very standard. And in StarCraft 2, obviously you wouldn't see gas that often before expansion, but this is Starbow where units actually pack a much heavier punch. And just all in all, a much more exciting game to watch in my opinion. And I was actually thinking about doing a little video. It seems like you know, people don't really seem to know when casting this game whether to do, whether to cast it to people who've never seen Starbow before, or cast it to people who know what's going on with Starbow already. And they end up doing kind of this weird hybrid thing that actually, I mean, it works out so far, but I was thinking I'm going to start casting it like people know what's going on. But yeah, so that's AnathemA. He's obviously the one who sent me the replay, and so he's making a cameo also in this game by messaging me because I don't have my thing on Do Not Disturb. I'm not that popular, so I don't usually get fans contacting me. I'm not Husky StarCraft or anything where people where he forgets to turn that off or BNet disconnects and he suddenly got 8,000 messages. The Zerglings are out, should be able to deal with this Reaper harass pretty handily. They're going to meet in the middle of the map. That's not good for AnathemA. He's not going to have much of a place to send these Reapers. We'll see what ends up happening here. Actually, I mean, I think they yeah, so he does outspeed them, outrun them. So he's gonna be able to jump up into the main here. Queen in place, Spinecrawler on the way as well. So not a lot of damage should be done. He does have enough energy for Enrage, and there it goes. He's gonna pop it. It's gonna scare the Reaper away. He's gonna head up to the north side here. Zergling's going all over the map, making sure there aren't any hidden bases lying around. There's not a push-up following this. Really good disciplined move there from Kinetic. It's really hard to not let all your units chase down the Reaper, and just like try to kill him. But of course, the better choice is to make sure that's not a distraction to blindside you there. Spinecrawler in a nice position, almost taking out that Reaper right away. Ooh, what's this? How did I not see that? We got Proxy Banshee on the way soon, it looks like, anyway. Not quite yet. Someday. There it is. Even got the overcharge on it, so it's going to be pumping that out real fast. But as I was saying... Oh, wait, nope. Reaper going to do a little bit more harass here, taking out some Zerglings. Of 1 kill already on it. And the Spinecrawler repositioning itself just a little bit there to try to be able to cover. The Vespene guys are a little bit better, but the Reaper now going to abuse the bottom side of the mineral field. And he's trapped in the back. He does get taken out. And is the other Reaper must have got taken out as well. Maybe. No. Well, there's an easy way to check. Yes, it did. Banshee on the way over now, though, and there's not any anti-air. This Queen not even in position right now. Just lost his energy for Enrage, so these drones are going to take huge damage. We've got Stim following this up. This is just a one base, I don't know, I'd kind of say 1-2 punch because that's kind of the style it is, but he's just got several attacks lined up one after the other, and he's just pummeling the Zerg with all sorts of different tech options. And the Zerg player, with that fast expand, having trouble with his tech keeping up and having trouble being able to have a response to all these different things. And the Banshee cloaks. He doesn't finish chasing down this Swarm Queen, though. He's going to start on the other Swarm Queen, who's still enraged. Overseer on the way, so that Cloak won't be able to do that anymore. And this Queen will get taken out. Second Banshee arrives, definitely going to secure that death there. This Banshee going to run away. This Banshee can easily take out this other Swarm Queen. Another Swarm Queen spawns and does have the energy for Enrage there. But it looks like he's going to instead transfuse the Spire. He wants to get those air units out as quickly as possible to respond to this. Banshee, a misclick there. Not able to pick off that Banshee with 3 health. This Queen forced to run away. Can Enrage one more time, and there we go. And he focuses down the wounded one, gets taken out there, parts flying everywhere. This Banshee going to keep going to work on the drones here. Taking a look at the worker counts, we see this Zerg player is down to 17, and the number is continually falling. We've got a changeling up there, going to scout exactly what's going on. He's going to see that the very late command center is on the way, as well as a small little bioforce here. And he's going to know that the onslaught is not over yet. More drones coming out, and the Spire just finished, but he doesn't really have all that much money to produce anything from that. Transfuse going down on this enraged Queen here. Might have actually been better to enrage the second Queen, because now we've got 2 Queens running around that can't attack back. This Queen's going to enrage as he spawns, and he's going to go for the full health one. There he goes. He's focusing down the weakened one. And the Banshee just barely gets out of there. Nice clutch little cloak there, having 3 health left. Going to start focusing down this Queen now too. This Banshee control is just unreal. Picking apart this Zerg player here, not able to get his economy back on track, and now Banshee's going to start focusing down this Spire, going to prevent any air units from coming out. 2 Mutalisks coming out, and that will shut this down. It's not a lot to do anything else, but it will at the very least kill these Banshees. And you can see as soon as he spawns, that Banshee just explodes. This Overseer going to totally nullify this Cloak. No big deals. Like spending the Cloak, though, it's just a cooldown. And Banshee does get taken out. Spire at half health now. And taking a look at the workers kit, we have 8 workers taken out. Units lost, looking actually not that heavily favor in the Terran's position. I thought it would actually be a lot higher there, but he did kill a lot of drones, killed a lot of Swarm Queens, and really, I mean, kind of threw Kinetic off. But on the other side of this, AnathemA still doesn't have an expansion. There's the exact same worker count now, and the income is much higher. Well, not much higher, but quite a bit higher for the Zerg player here, just because he has his units spread out across the 2 bases there. We're getting +1 attacks on the way. And I'm not sure. He's going to see this force moving out here, so he's going to know he needs more units. Kinetic has to be careful about spending too much on upgrades right now, because he's going to have to find a way to stop this push. This is not a small push. And 3 spines, I'm not sure that's going to be all he needs to deal with this. Not to mention the spines. Okay, 4 spines. But even still, this is a big force. We've even got fire bats to tank some damage. Well, we got 1 fire bat. And then we just got a lot of Marines, a lot of medics. And this is just going to be really hard to deal with just Mutalisks and Spine Crawlers. You can see he's just continuing to pump out Mutalisks, though. More and more Spine Crawlers on the way. He's just going to try to wall himself in here. And a couple of Marines getting picked off as they're just walking a little bit too close. He's going to head up here and check this 3rd base. Scan goes down, sees that there's not one there. I guess he canceled it. Very smart move. Would definitely not be able to hold that. And 1 Mutalisk flies right over top there. Mutalisk for free, kind of trading off a couple of Marines that he gave for free earlier, making it even. And it's kind of tough to say who's ahead right now. I definitely feel like AnathemA is in control right now. And he's going to have no trouble securing the space. He's already got missile turrets down and everything. But on the other hand, I mean, Kinetic just had that early economic lead. Here they go, flying in, going to deny some of these missile turrets from going up, picking off the SCVs. Very good. Canceling the 2 missile turrets. Will he lose a Mutalisk, though? It's definitely not worth it to do that. And he does get him out of there. Pretty low health. He's going to try to fly around and pick off what he can. A couple of straggling Marines going to take those out. Overseer still hanging out with the Mutalisks. Old school style there, keeping the Overlord with the Mutalisks. Very nice to see some Brood War roots coming back into this. Mutalisk just flying all over the place. I guess I can follow screen now. I kind of got used to not using that. Going to pick off another missile turret. Taking that one out. No cancel there. And these small victories are really going to make sure the Kinetic feels comfortable. He's getting down his 3rd base now as well. We've just seen more and more bio pumping out here from AnathemA. Very typical style play here. versus a lot of Mutalisks. We're just seeing more and more Mutalisks getting streamed in. You can see up here on the production tab, 3 more Mutalisks on the way, plus 1 weapon's about to finish. And now we've got a Hydralisk Den going down as well. Let's see where he's throwing that down at. He's going to throw it down right here in his natural. So he's not exactly hiding it, but doesn't really need to. We'll see if he chooses to get Lurkers. That would be a lot of fun. Irradiate coming out. That's going to help deal with these Mutalisks big time. You can see how many are already wounded. 1 Irradiate might actually be devastating this if he doesn't split them fast enough. There we go, picking off 1 Marine at a time. Very nice control there. Always nice to see. We do see the Lurker Den coming down as soon as the Hydralisk Den is finished. So that's going to really help zone out all these bio units there. More and more missile turrets coming out. AnathemA just going to be content to stay on these 2 bases for at least a little while. Science Vessel is out on the field just waiting for that Irradiate to finish up. So it does only take 75 energy, so he's going to have enough to throw this down right away. And Kinetic kind of dancing with fire here. More Science Vessels on the way, going to overcharge that out. He knows that he wants a couple of Irradiates going down on these. And the Science Vessel moving forward, getting that Irradiate down. And he splits it fairly quickly. That's actually pretty impressive. Yeah, so he gets that out of there. Doesn't take a whole lot of damage. A lot of wounded Mutalisks in this ball. Nonetheless, this Mutalisk sent off. He's like, go die somewhere else. We don't want to see your smelly carcass flying around with the rest of us. Hydralisk on the way, most likely to get turned into Lurkers right away. It is definitely good to keep some Hydralisk with your Lurkers though to zone out those units, stop them from targeting down your Lurkers. And nice, the splash, the ricochet there is taking out that last missile turret. Just slowly chiseling away, and it's kind of cool to see this. Earlier in the game, the Terran player was just chiseling away at the Zerg player, and now Kinetic's coming back, and he's just slowly picking apart AnathemA. And I mean, that's really a sign that both players are really well matched. You know, they're both players are knowing when they have advantages and really taking advantage of them. Trying to fly in there, take out a couple SCVs. He takes out 1, going for a second there, but not having a lot of luck. He loses a Mutalisk for it too. 1 SCV for 1 Mutalisk, definitely not the kind of trade you want to see happen. We've got Lurkers on the way now though, and he can start really putting on a heavy contain. Let's see, where does this scan go down? Somewhere. Okay. Yeah, okay, I guess he's just scanning in front of his base, trying to figure out where these Mutalisks and where these forces are. If is it safe for him to move out? We'll find out. He's gonna bunch up his units here. Where are the Lurkers? Mutalisks gonna fly into the main here, try to distract them just a little bit longer while the Lurkers run into position. There we go, stopping this command center from being constructed, at least for the time being. And here come a big group of Science Vessels. Mutalisks gonna rush them though, try to pick them off. A couple of Irradiates going down, gonna take out about 4 Mutalisks, it looked like. Hard to say for sure. A couple of Scourge flying in there a little bit late to the party, not gonna be able to take out those Science Vessels like they would have hoped. We've now got +1 Carapace for ground units coming out for the Zerg player, and that's about it for right now. More Science Vessels getting at it in, going to deal with these big giant Mutalisks balls really handily. We've got +2 weapons, +2 armor on the way out for the Terran player. And I don't think we have plus weapons yet, do we? No. So the Zerg player, the Zerg ground army is totally unupgraded right now. We've got 1-1 already out for Terran player. And it's really going to come down to positioning control. He wants to burrow these Lurkers eventually here. He's going to move them up just a little bit closer. And did he overextend just a little bit? The Lurkers walking into this forest. The Radiate's going down on the Lurkers. And they burrow so that splash damage isn't going to exist anymore. And the Lurkers just cleaning things up. Look at those Marines just evaporate. Mutalisks flying in here to help finish this off. The Scourge taking out a couple of Science Vessels there, overkilling just a little bit. And the Irradiates go down. And this is just going to be pretty much a total trade-off here. Both players losing almost their entire army. We've got a couple of Zerglings and 1 Lurker remaining, as well as 4 heavily wounded Mutalisks. Look at this guy. What a survivor. 5 health. We need to get little pink ribbons for that guy. And we've got 4 Science Vessels up here. I was trying to think if that was a tasteless joke or not. Kind of feel like it probably was. Maybe I'll not make that joke again. But we've got Lurkers moving up here, going to try to get around to the back, but the Irradiate's going down really well in there. Only 2 Lurkers going to live through this at the most, but not a lot of Terran forces going to live through this either. Got a 4th base now coming down for Kinetic, and it doesn't look like there's a lot to contest it. He will scout it because of this tech lab here, but that last Lurker gets taken out. Well, this is technically the last Lurker, but his days are numbered. His seconds are numbered, actually. Here we go. 22, 19. Just more and more Science Vessels getting at it, and more Marines, Science Vessels, upgrades. Getting not a lot of tech switches coming up for either player right now. We've got +2 ground carapace. His goal is to make sure that these lurkers are as hardy as possible and the units that are blocking for them are as hardy as possible, because the lurkers are going to dish out damage no matter what. That splash damage is unreal. There goes the irradiate down on another lurker, and he's moving in here. As long as the lurker is not burrowed, that any units that run past the lurker are going to take damage as well. But a nice surround there, going to make sure that none of these units live. Oh my gosh, that was brutal. Those Marines just exploding there, and then these other Marines going to be trying to run for their lives while the Zerglings just clean them up. I really wish that the Zerglings had their old Brood War sound, because that was much more terrifying than that ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk versus split, you know. Terrible at sound effects, but you get the idea. Nice burrowed Zergling here, going to stop this expansion for now, and that's also going to let Kinetic know that this is going down up here. Looks like he might be sending his Zerglings up there to take care of that, but no, he's not, because they are in the air, so it actually doesn't make sense for him to send them over there. And a Mutalisk getting caught out of position by those Marines. Now it's just a lot of Zerglings and Lurkers. More Scourge on the way to try to take care of these Science Vessels, as the Science Vessels are doing a number on these Lurkers. We've got a Viper's Nest coming out, rather, and that will allow him to get Hive Tech, unless he wants to go from some really fancy Viper play, which would be cool to see, but doesn't look like it for now. We've just got +2 ground armor, still about halfway done. We've got more and more Scourge coming out. He really wants these Science Vessels dead, because as we've seen, the Marines really don't pose much of a threat to the Lurkers. And this Mutalisk also getting caught out of position. I'm not sure where these are getting told to go, but obviously they're taking the shortest route, just being lazy, and they're definitely paying for it. It's a nice factory up here, going to try to scout. So he did have like scout the 2 possible 4th bases for the Terran, or for the Zerg player, and he's just not really able to do anything about it. Still stuck on his 2 bases, forced to pull his command center all the way back home. He's going to try to go for it one more time, and the Lurker's trying to get in position. The Irradiate doing tons of damage to all these units, and the Firebats going in there to clean that up, and the Zerg force just gets annihilated. The Scourge flying in there, taking out one more Science Vessel. He did have to send a few more Scourge that time, because flying over the Marines, you gotta figure that you'll lose a couple of Scourge before they get in there. Scourge getting picked off. And this Overseer, you're gonna see a whole lot of bad news heading down to their 4th base here. Got creep spread going on, and Enrage gonna try to pick off this Science Vessel. Will he get it? It would be a really nice pickup if he does. Oh! One more shot. He has 2 health, and that Hydralisk comes over here. Hero mode. Cleans that up. So there's only 1 Science Vessel left to throw down and Irradiate, and he does, of course. And the Lurker's having trouble getting into position, walking around all the Zerglings. Scan goes down, doesn't really need to. Science Vessel's still standing, and the Lurkers get cleaned up. And this 4th base now looking like it's in a lot of trouble. We've only got 3 Spine Crawlers here, no Queen to help out and transfuse this. A couple of Marines getting taken out, though the Spine Crawler is actually really effective at cleaning up these one-shot-to-go units. And getting kind of stuck on a Marauder there. And a lot of drones. Not going to live to see the next birthday. Not a lot of Zerg forces to do. They don't tend to celebrate it too hard with Zerg forces, because you just got to expect they're not going to make it. Look at this, though. This is just asking. I mean, a big group of just Zerglings even could clean this up. There's so many almost dead units here. Meanwhile, AnathemA did manage to get up his 3rd base, so now we're looking at even bases. Just got a little Overlord gathering over here. People who are, you know, they're technically scouting, but they're really just trying to stay out of trouble. And losing these Lurkers, oh man. 4 Lurkers are standing right here, and they should be able to clean the rest of this up, I imagine. I mean, there's just not a lot of high health things, but they're spread out nice enough that he's going to get a lot of Lurkers for his trouble here. And the last Marine will fall. Wow. AnathemA just trading really effectively there. He had basically a dead army already and managed to kill a lot of units with it. His reinforcements streaming down here. You can see supply slowly starting to favor AnathemA more and more as the game goes on. Drone coming down here, going to try to resecure this base. We've now got +3 Carapace coming up for the Zerg player, as well as the chitinous plating. So he's going to be seeing where we go. Ultralisks on the way, and they are going to be some heavily armored Ultralisks, let me tell you. And if those are the guys who are going to be buffering for the Lurkers from now on, we'll see. That should pay off really well. Nice Lurker position here. If he's shooting down the ramp, this is going to be a lot of damage. Oh, look at all these Marines. One more shot will clean up a ton of them. The SCV's evacuating the Zerglings, trying to save that Lurker there, but it's not enough. They're going to try to focus down this command center really fast, but this command center is going to pick up and it will live. A couple of Zerglings running home. Going to be able to fight another day. Meanwhile, his own hatchery about halfway done. We've got more and more fire bats. The fire bats so tanky. So good to have those out there, but versus Ultralisks, I just don't know that splash damage from the fire bat's not going to do a lot when they're facing something the size of a building. Science vessel's flying down here with the rest of the army. No Scourge around to catch these out of position, unfortunately for Kinetic. And Kinetic gonna swing around to this base here. Just really making sure AnathemA is having a rough time holding any of this. Lurk is gonna burrow, but a flying command center pretty good against everything that attacks the ground. And it looks like he is gonna leave these lurkers behind to clean off any units that come down here, like these two unsuspecting SCVs. Meanwhile, though, AnathemA pushing up into Kinetic's third. And these lurkers really doubt that they're ever going to be able to morph in there. And the Ultralisks coming in all by themselves through some really nasty chokes. And yeah, they're going to run out of there. Not going to sacrifice those. These bases are as good as dead. He's going to take a new fourth. Well, actually, I mean, this is his new third, so this is his new fourth now. And these lurkers just running right on past. They're going to get behind the army, it looks like. Burrow, burrow, burrow. There we go. One gang taken out before it does anything. Couple of nice connections there, and the Ultralisk going to run up from the other side. Radiate's going down on them, but Ultralisk will last forever, even with the Irradiate. And still a couple of forces left for AnathemA, and Kinetic's just going to tap out right there. Just not able to deal with his Bioforce. Really exciting game. I actually thought it was going to go on a little bit longer, but I can definitely see where he'd tap out there. Just really hard to deal with all this. But really well played from both players. And big thank you to AnathemA for sending that in. If you want me to cast your replays, just go on to starbowmod.com, go to the forums, post them either in the awesome replay thread, or there's a thread that I made asking for replays. You can also send them to amnesia.sc2@gmail.com. And just try to keep it spoiler free so that, you know, I don't know exactly what's going to happen before I even cast it. And also, if you can do like a best of X series between like you and a friend or something like that, those are always really fun to cast. Kind of start to get some metagame type stuff going on there. But that's it for now. I think I'm going to go ahead and cast some of the other games that have been posted up there. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.